There's something a brewing called the Belt and Road Initiative, also known as Belt and Road, abbreviated BNR, or One Belt, One Road, abbreviated OBOR. And it is also sometimes referred to as the Silk Road or Maritime Silk Road Initiative, or project, or economic belt, which is a global initiative for a global infrastructure and communications network that is going to be a physical connector of our nations, of our world, making it the one world government that we've all dreamed of. Now, the propaganda that you're seeing on screen is geared toward the Chinese people, from their president who initiated the initiative. But this is something I believe is much bigger than what it seems to be on its face value. It is, I mean, you see the upside down city there. It's very reminiscent of the city in the clouds. This map here, it looks very weird to me. These things are gearing up for a communications network, a quantum computing system, an AI, absolutely, and it's connectivity and bringing hospitals and trade to economic places we've never had. Let me show you some of the propaganda for Americans.
This initiative, the Belt and Road Initiative, was launched officially by China in 2013. It's a program of mutually beneficial connectivity, of infrastructure, of common development programs. So far, the proposals and works in progress embrace over 60 nations, affecting over 4 billion people, the majority of humanity. Over 4 billion people, the majority of humanity, with plans for $20 trillion in infrastructure spending. This is a huge project. These programs, they've got the potential to eliminate poverty on the globe within a generation. Completely and totally eliminate endemic poverty everywhere.
Now, I think that sounds wonderful, but I don't know, when was the last time you were aware of governments, out of the kindness of their hearts, setting up infrastructure, spending billions and billions of dollars to end poverty and to unite humanity at peace? I feel like we're being sold propaganda for something that is a mission for something else. Yes, it sounds wonderful to have a world connected, no more poverty, and they're building this huge infrastructure. These images seem to me like light, quantum light communications being connected across the globe. And I've been coming across strange words in my research, like the word supranational, which is a term that involves a global infrastructure. Supranational organizations have to overlook the finances for the good of all. And that's fine and good, except that I've never known such a cooperation to exist so easily at the beginning of an endeavor, before it even really is accepted by everybody. And I feel like there's an agenda behind this by whatever you'd like to call the powers that be, the elite, or whoever sort of runs the operations behind the scenes. Here they're showing us that we all get a piece of the cake. Very heavy on the symbolism for these. There's this guy, this is for the Russia part of the infrastructure. There's this guy with and this tiny girl, this huge human, and he's like holding this huge thing above the girl. Then this is the friendship road, friendship line. It's it's being, and this, I mean, the heavy symbolism with these images. What's that in the background with the towers? This is the Greek part of the infrastructure. This is strange, and this is the Chinese propaganda. This that you're watching right now, but and I'll leave a link in the description. But the the hope it is meant to inspire the cooperation between nations for peace and communications and ending poverty. We're spending $20 trillion, and that's estimated. I'm sure it's going to be more than that. Everyone's just going to jump on board with this. I mean, honestly, the way that they're talking about it, it's like it's already a done deal. In fact, a lot of this infrastructure is built currently. And all these happy images, this is infrastructure that's going to be going through very, very poverty-stricken communities. And is it going to help them? Is that what they want? I feel like that they are being told that's what they want. So I urge people to watch this carefully. This is not in our American news. It's not being presented this way. Let me show you more about the propaganda.
Already, over the past few decades, China has seen phenomenal development.
And China really began to feel its oats about that time. And rightfully, they have achieved a lot. They moved 500 million Chinese people out of poverty into middle-class status.
And I met with the president of China at great length in Florida, and we had long, long talks, hours and hours and hours. He's a good man.
Through Chinese investment by the nation, by corporations, and through new financing from institutions like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the New Development Bank, mechanisms created since 2013, major projects of enormous scope are made possible.
This is a historic project, as you all know. It is probably the biggest global achievement, which is analogous to reaching out into space and to the moon and to other planets. It's probably the most comprehensive initiative that many nations will be working together on.
Starting in Asia, there are 6 development corridors proposed by China for road, rail, water, electricity, communications, along with soft infrastructure such as education, customs standardization, cultural exchange. These corridors are currently underway to varying degrees. Take, as an example, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, currently under massive construction. It's going to bring 10 gigawatts of electricity to Pakistan. That's enough for millions of people, 10 million people or more. A new port at Gwadar, hundreds of thousands of jobs along the way, just in that construction, and more foreign investment overall into Pakistan than that nation has received in the past couple of decades cumulatively. Consider the ocean. The 21st century maritime Silk Road, including cutting a canal through the Isthmus of Kra in Thailand. This is a huge and necessary project to relieve the overcrowding through the Straits of Malacca and to bring economic opportunity to Thailand and Southeast Asia more generally. This idea, proposed for decades, has real potential to be built within this decade. Reaching to Europe, the Eurasian land bridge carries increasing amounts of rail cargo, with rail departures of freight trains headed west to Europe daily, returning to China with European goods. If we look to Africa, we see the recent opening of the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railroad as just one example of the much-needed development now possible, now happening in Africa, where investment in infrastructure and industry and agriculture are reaching new highs, most of it from China. We cross the Bering Strait. We go from Asia into North America, from Russia to Alaska. A land route made possible by this connection will be faster than ship transport, and it allows the region along the way to be developed. The Arctic has immense resources that are currently almost completely inaccessible.
About the Arctic, I have so much to say about this. I started to put it in this video, but it's going to have to be a whole nother one.
Building the necessary infrastructure and the Bering Strait crossing itself will be a major infrastructure achievement. Then, a rebuilt U.S. infrastructure foundation, a network of railways, of roadways, a platform of new high-density power plants, nuclear power, ports, locks, dams, schools, other public buildings, other public works will allow the U.S. to reach a new level of productivity and to have more to contribute to and benefit from the world community. There is currently no land transportation from North to South America. You can't drive to South America. Not possible. There's a break known as the Darien Gap. Finally getting the construction done and linking this short section of only a few dozen miles will finally connect the Americas as a whole. Also in Central America, new financing, primarily from China, is already making possible a second canal, a second Panama Canal, you might say, with construction and site prep underway currently in Nicaragua. In South America is the construction of a bi-oceanic corridor, stretching from Peru to Brazil, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, by way of Bolivia. So much of the world is currently working together for aims of common development and a shared future of advancement, of dignity, and of scientific achievement. Will the U.S. join in? We are invited with open arms.
Last but not the least, I want to quote President Xi as saying that China welcomes the United States to participate in cooperation within the Belt and Road framework. Both countries should really seize the opportunities.
Let's accept this invitation. The U.S. of 100 years from now, looking back, will be so glad that we did.
The U.S. 100 years from now, according to things like the Georgia Guidestones, will be a much different place. Number one, it will be a one world government, not the U.S., and it is in Babylonian, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, Egyptian, and a few other languages, I believe, that we are to keep the population at a maintainable level of under 500 million of the world, that is. Just a thought, just a little thoughty poo that came into my head. So, anywho, thank you guys for watching. Please leave comments. I kind of left this one open-ended. I have a lot more research that, I don't know, I'm working on, but it seems to lead to a building quantum infrastructure that is well on its way. And by the way, I also learned during the making of this that the Australian area is now called Oceania and stuff. So anyway, have a great night and much love to everybody. The more you know.